refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I don't know where you are in the world, but delighted to be joined by Mr. Joe Fournier. How are you, mate?
I'm good, buddy. I am good. Still seething, but good.
Okay, well, I think we've had a clear, 48 hours, I think, we've had. Since your fight. It is Monday night at 11:20, just for timestamps.
Yeah.
How are you just physically and mentally? Give us a little update on that, first of all.
Physically, I feel good. I wasn't that bad, although it was an illegal elbow. I managed to nearly get up in the count. So still got a good chin, I guess. But no, I feel physically fine. Just, I can't believe how terrible it's been, like, watching it back so many times, how clearly illegal it was and how close the referee was. And how everyone just went, yeah, didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, look, just in reference to that, I mean, when I was watching it, I didn't kind of see that initial motion from Kao's side. It wasn't until I was sent a few videos, quite a lot of videos actually, with, like, not even a slow-mo, just kind of the angle that actually, there's quite a few angles that actually show
Every angle.
that. But I didn't see it firsthand watching it. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that, but we can clearly see, and we've seen from KSI's statement as well, which he says it was unintentional, which could have been the case as well. I'm just playing devil's advocate. It could have been the case as well. But you obviously are not going to see it like that. And that was ultimately the defining shot that kind of ended the fight.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch it again, right, he gets an underhook under my right arm, yeah, which is an MMA underhook, and follows it with a Muay Thai elbow. He just so happens to be training in a Muay Thai MMA gym. So it's a bit too much of a coincidence for me. And in a video I posted today saying that you can elbow in boxing if you're smart. You see that? So he's obviously worked on it. They've obviously trained it. They obviously knew what they was doing. He realized he hits me with the right hand, and I kept walking through it. There, I got to do something else. And he didn't think that, he thought, I'm the promoter. I can get away with murder, and he did.
Okay, well, look, the situation has actually gone. This has been now kind of the talk rather than your loss or KSI's win has been the talk over the last 48 hours on social media, wherever, about this elbow. So I read a few things earlier on about a decision being made by the PBA on Friday. Can you just expand on that, Joe, a little bit?
So I got my law firm, my sports lawyers, to write them a letter to explain that we feel like we've been, obviously as a governing body of that bout, they got to, do something about that. It was clearly the world's seen it, as you see. You go on social media, you go on any media, it's what everyone's talking about. So we're like, if the world can see it, if KSI has admitted it, like, surely this is a disqualification, and at worst case, a no contest. And they wrote back and said, look, send us your evidence and send us what you... He actually admitted on email that, yeah, I did say that I saw an elbow there, when he came into the changing room. And now it's with my lawyers. They've sent them an appeal with facts and videos and angles and, reasons. And also they have their own handbook of their regulations, which we've applied to our appeal. And now we're just waiting. They said Friday by 4 p.m. they're going to give us the answer.
What do you expect to happen?
I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't overturn the decision for a disqualification or a no contest.
Okay. So if it is awarded in your favour of a no contest or disqualification, does that mean that he definitely has to rematch you, or will that come from public outcry, if that makes sense?
He doesn't have to do anything. There was never a clause in his contract that he has to do anything. He has a rematch clause, but he's entitled to do what he wants with it. I'm not. It was one-sided.
Okay.
You know, like everything to do with this bout.
Okay, so this will come down to if it is awarded in your favour with the no contest or disqualification, it will be about whether KSI wants to put that right in his perspective. That's the only way that really a rematch can take place.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, because
and you can see they don't want the rematch anyway because they've swerved it hard, talking about Tommy Fury, and even Mams tweeted out, "Oh, why doesn't Joe fight Tyron Woodley?" So I guess they're trying to give me a big fight, you know, to sweeten it, but not KSI. I don't know why. I thought he was doing all right in the fight in the first round, but I guess maybe when he saw me getting his timing in the second round, they're like, "Oh, hold on, this is the tide's starting to turn here," and they were like, that was in the back of their mind, is if he clinches, hit him with the elbow.
when you look at kind of, obviously we spoke about this obviously before your fight that you know, professionally, obviously you hadn't fought for 6 years. You'd had these kind of fights in that period. On the whole, you'd say that KSI was a more active fighter than you. I think that was fair to say with his fights over the last. But performance-wise, what did you think once you was in the ring with him of KSI, and also your own performance, Joe?
Listen, I've always been a slow starter, so I knew that. Also, 6 rounds. I haven't done 6 rounds since like my pro debut or whatever it is. You know, it's like we're like 4 and 6 rounders. So it's been a long time since I've had to be at that pace so early. So maybe that was my mistake. He was. He doesn't. He might have power for a YouTuber, but there was no power in his punches. His elbow was pretty good, but in his punches there was no power that bothered me in any way. You saw me. I got hit with a clean right hand. Windmill, just walked straight through it, smiled at him, was like, "Oh, is that it?" So the power ain't there. He's fast though. That's what I will give him. Is he was much faster than I anticipated, and it just took me around to get my feet under me and just get used to it. It's been a while, like you said, boxing, and so it's been 2 years since I've been in the ring in general. It took me a while to get my feet, and then the second round I started to time him, started to time his jab, and then I hit him with that nice kind of left hook right hand. And then he caught me again with a right. This is the other thing about him and his coach. So his coach say that I called him up and threatened him. Just total nonsense, total lies, black and white lies. Just made it out of clear blue
I
sky.
haven't seen that. Can you tell us a bit more about that? I haven't seen that.
No, after the fight, he came up to me and started cussing me and threatening me in the ring. After they illegally elbowed me, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on about?" I thought I was cool with him, and then I've known him for years. And then I saw like a Twitter post where he's a video someone has sent me where he's saying that I called him and threatened him, and that's why he came back to like, if I give it, I gotta be able to take it or some shit. Totally lied. Never threatened that guy in my life. Like shook his hand literally the day before in the weigh-ins. "All right, mate, how are you? How's things?" Like never had a problem with him. Just total bullshit to that guy. Fucking just a fake dude. And then with regards to KSI, I said, "Oh, I wobbled him and I was outclassing him." Bro, we fought for 3.5 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at Canelo versus Amir Khan, he also outclassed him for the first 3 minutes. But what happened in that fight? He got knocked the fuck out. So it don't mean nothing, those the first round, second round. You just warming up. You're getting into the groove. You know what I mean? So that's just the way that they reacted since has just been mad, bro. Like, "Oh, yeah, I might have, I tarnished my win, but he was going to go down." And shut up. Stop talking shit. It's just like all fake. Everything about it is fake. I was disappointed in KSI because I thought he was kind of like, quite a cool dude. And I thought, like, respect him, what he's done in it. But then you got to be a man about it. Say, "Oh, listen, I bought the dude. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. And he says that it was an accident, even though I don't think it is. So it was an accident, but that's what ended the fight. I don't want to win like that. He should be right into the viewers and you're right, it should be a no contest. Let's run it back."
Okay, so come Friday, which is by the time this goes out tomorrow, Tuesday, got about 4 days or so. If this doesn't roll in your favour, for whatever reason, what are you going to do then?
I'm going to continue to take legal advice against the commission because at the end of the day, I feel like this has been, it's so black and white. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to let it go. I'm a savage and I'm going to make my feelings really, really felt. And I will, like I said, I'm not going to say too much now because there is a case going on with lawyers involved and I'm not like a kid. But if they don't do the right thing that the world has seen, literally the world's seen. Have you seen a video that isn't saying he clearly elbowed me? I haven't. I mean, I've seen thousands of videos. Every day I go on my explore page, just that elbow saying, can you believe it? There's more memes about him elbowing, you know, than anything else. So usually my explore page is loads of birds with bikinis on. So you could tell it's real. And now I'm just going to wait and see, but no, I ain't going to leave it. I can't leave it. It's too much of a cheat. Too cheating, isn't it?
I did an interview with Eddie Hearn today, and this is what Eddie Hearn said. I said to him, an open-ended question: was it an elbow, or was it not an elbow? Eddie Hearn's response was, "Well, obviously it was an elbow, right?" But this is the argument that I feel like a few people have kind of put out there, because he said that he said he felt that the way the fight was going, that you would have been stopped or beat anyway, right? That was what Eddie Hearn was pretty much saying. Without quoting him word for word, that's the impression I got from him. That's what he was saying, which is a common argument amongst early stoppages and any situation regarding this, where people say, well, we know the way the fight was going, but until it happens, it's impossible to say exactly how the fight is going. But that was what Hearn said today about that situation. But when I asked him about the elbow, he said, obviously, of course it was an elbow, you know.
Yeah, I mean, well, number one, of course, it was an elbow. And number two, none of the punches knocked me out. So what anyone's saying is that is irrelevant. I got dropped by an elbow, not by a punch. So whether he was doing better in the first 3.5 minutes of the fight or not is irrelevant. I'd agree. He won the first round, no, totally. But it was only 30 seconds in the second round. And I didn't seem worried. And I was landing. I started landing. I started getting my distance, started getting this time. And so anyone can make a judgment on that. It was a bit crazy in like 3.5, especially someone as experienced as a man as Eddie Hearn, who's watched a lot of boxing and achieved a lot of great things in this sport. That, you know, you'd like to think that, you know, he would have maybe used his words slightly differently.
But there's no doubt in your mind. I know you said, well, you didn't kind of, you said straight after the fight, he's cheated, this was done intentionally, and there's no doubt in your mind, after every replay you've seen, every angle, every motion, every, like, even the lead up to it, you've got no doubt in your mind that you still think that he cheated.
Even more so when I saw the underhook come up before he like takes the underhook and rolls me into the elbow. That's why the impact was so high. And that glove, yeah, is a big glove still. So to get your glove, you remember Muay Thai, you got to get your hand out of the way to get the elbow in. Well, imagine when you got a big glove. So you have to be really getting your glove out of the way to hit someone with an elbow. Like, how did he miss my face with the glove? Like, how often have you seen anyone get knocked out by an elbow in boxing, like a clean elbow like that? When was the last time you saw that?
Well, do you know what? I'm not going to make a direct comparison, but obviously we had a situation recently with Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr.
But there was no punches in this that hit me, just an
well,
elbow.
I'm just saying that's the nearest thing recently to any kind of talk amongst or in reference to, sorry, an elbow. But that was used. If it was used, there was a combination of punches that it was maybe in. If that makes
there was I was not hit with any punches in that flurry except an elbow. So it can't have been an accident, number one. And number two, the funniest thing is I remember Calais Sauerland saying the ref needs glasses, but when it came to his boy on his fight, no, it was just the angle. He definitely caught him when that was a punch.
Have you spoke to Calais about it?
Mate, the guy ran out so fast. at the press conference. They tried to swerve the whole press conference. They tried to not. In my contract, I had a press conference after the fight. As soon as KSI stopped talking, they all ran out. But yeah, it's press conference over. I had to run in and make the press sit so I could get my word. And I said, "Oh, you're going to say?" He goes, "Oh, you want to talk?" And I like look all confused. And I said, "Yeah, come." And I look around. He's ran out of the room. They all ran out. Him, Mans, KSI, everyone, even the press guy from whoever it was, Misfits or DAZN, was like, didn't know what to do. I'm like, who wants to ask me questions? So all the press sat down because all they were asking him was about the elbow. Do you know? They'd all seen it. And then I basically held my own press conference by myself without the promoter of the show there. And I like Kale Sal. I think he's funny as fuck. I was like, but you know what it is that obviously this is their golden boy and they got to do whatever it is they got to do to protect him, innit? So, but it's kind of like, man, now you know that whoever fights him next can pretty much, he can bring a gun to the ring and he'd probably get away with it at this point because they're going to, oh, we never saw it. That wasn't a gun. It was mouth guard. Yeah.
Excuse me.
And you know what's sad? You know what's sad? Like, tell you straight, is that if he was winning the fight, like everyone says, yeah, if he is whatever, why did he need to throw the elbow? It's because he knew that I was starting to land. And those jabs to the chest that I'm very heavy-handed, weren't liking it. And they had worked on that technique, man. You don't do that by accident. You don't come out with a world-class Muay Thai elbow by accident. It doesn't just come naturally. I've all the boxing fights you've ever seen. How many boxing fights have you watched? How many years? 20 years?
My first boxing fight I probably watched around 95.
Right. All right, so
28
18 years of boxing
yeah.
fights, you probably watch 50 fights a year. Like 50
Yeah, I
bouts a
wasn't
year with
watching
10
50
fights.
fights here in 95, but that was my first one. So whatever, anyway. Yeah,
So
go on.
you've seen 10,000 boxing fights.
I don't know about that, but maybe, who knows?
In 10,000 boxing fights, when was the last time you saw a clean elbow like that land on any boxer?
Okay, I hear your point.
Never happens. It don't happen by accident. I've never seen it. You've never seen it. No one's ever seen it because it don't happen by accident.
Well, look, in answer to your question, in all those fights that I've seen or even covering IFL TV, I can't recall a situation like the other day. So, but I understand your point completely. Okay.
Yeah. So I just hope that they don't lose integrity and by trying to look after their boy. From the PBA to Misfits to because they're building a product that's good. They were starting to build traction. But when you start to go super wild like that and let things like that get away, then you're just devaluing the whole product, in my opinion. So I'm like I said, till Friday, I'm gonna keep the faith that they're all gonna do the right thing. I ain't gonna trash talk them, but I do think that this didn't happen by accident.
Okay, look, I appreciate it's late and I do much appreciate your time, as I always do, Joe. Just the last question. I will ask you, if it doesn't go your way Friday, which I already asked, but if you seek whatever advice and you go down whatever legal route, but you still it doesn't warrant you getting the rematch with KSI, what will be your plan? Would you take another fight if Misfits were to come to you?
I would never fight. I would never fight for Misfits ever again if they don't do the right thing.
Really? You feel that strongly about it?
Yeah. Never. Don't care what money, who opponent. I would never fight. Like if they do the right thing and it gets changed the result, and I can see Misfits have been proactive in that, and then they offer me another fight. Say, listen, KSI ain't gonna fight you, but you can fight X or Y, and I like the idea of it. I'll fight for them again. But if it's one of those things where it's like you can't do anything to the owner, the promoter, and yeah, let's all hush hush and pretend it all never happened, and kind of because that's disrespect, and that's what I'm not. That's why I'm upset. Is you can't disrespect me like that. When all I did was push a fight, promote the fight, help them build their brand, and make it exciting as possible. And then when it don't go in your favor, you just try and mug me off. It ain't gonna happen.
Do you feel like you've been disrespected and, in your words, mugged off?
Totally. I mean, that should have been called in the ring by the ref. You saw how close the referee was to it. He was standing on top of it. You know what I'm saying? That referee just was like, turn the ball out. He hit me in the back of the head 3 times. Right, like literally on my neck. The ref, I complained about it in the ring openly. The ref just let it slide. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just super clear that, like, okay, that's the guy, the promoter. He pays us, so we gotta let him do whatever he wants. And if that's how it's gonna be on Misfits, then I would not fight for them ever again. No, I would go anywhere else to fight, but I would not fight for them ever again. If they rectify this issue, then everyone can make a mistake. So, and I'm all about if they rectify it correctly, cool. They made a mistake. There's an apology. It wasn't even an apology from him. It's like, I was going to beat him anyway, and so the elbow don't really matter. What? What are you talking about? How's that anything to do with anything? You weren't going to beat me anyway because you had to elbow me to win the fight because your right hand didn't do nothing. And he was, oh, I wobbled him already. How did he wobble me? I was throwing a counter right hand. You don't throw a counter right hand when you're wobbled. So, just nonsense.
Right. Well, listen, like I said, by the time this goes out, this will be Tuesday. I'll speak to you either Friday or Saturday with an update on this, if you will.
Yeah.
And let us know what's going on, because if obviously you're going to find out that information first, unless it's publicly put out there what the decision is. But you reckon around 4 o'clock we may know?
They said to me, yeah, like 4 o'clock on Friday, they're going to have an answer. They're giving the chance to KSI to put his defense in.
Have you both got to turn up anywhere, or is it just going to be done internally?
It's done internally. Like, we sent them an email with our representations. They gave us until 2 o'clock tomorrow to send it in. So we're going to send anything in the morning. KSI has to do the same. Then they deliberate till Friday and then give us an answer.
Okay. Well, like I said, we'll have hopefully a catch up at some point, either Friday or Saturday. I never know where you are in the world, so like time difference wise,
I don't even know I'm going to be in the world, so we'll just
no, I
wing
don't.
it.
I literally don't. I'm like speaking to you all day today. I'm like, I actually don't know where you are. I still don't know where you are. So it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll hopefully get a good result Friday and see what we do next. But there's other fights. It doesn't have to be Misfits. If they're not going to do the right thing, there's other promotions out there that would want a headline fighter.
Well, you're definitely going into whatever next fight off the lot, a lot of publicity, rather. Sorry.
Of course, yeah. I've had like 21 million people go on my Instagram for the last month or something crazy like that. Like, stories are getting like 200,000 views, and this is just like, I don't know why. Guess it's a smile. I'm viral, baby.
Viral Fournier. Joe, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. And if you haven't listened to the podcast that me and Joe did, obviously a few days before his fight, Raw the Fight Within, please listen to that on Spotify, Apple, everywhere, because that's actually quite an interesting listen. Not obviously, it's not reference to the fight, but a lot of your backstory is in that. So
yeah,
give that
a lot of people would message me saying they loved it. Yeah.
I've had a lot of comments off it today, actually. Like the YouTube video will go out later on, as in Tuesday, but on the audio, like a few people message me, go, "Oh, that Fournier is actually all right, isn't
he?" God forbid.
Yeah. All right, listen, we'll catch up then anyway, and we'll see what happens regarding the situation on this on Friday.
All right, cool. And tell Eddie to put his glasses on. Watch it back. Is it because
I thought it was like a bit of a backhanded compliment, because he said, not a compliment, but he said it was, obviously. That's what he said, but then he kind of said that's the impression I got from his comments, that he felt that the way the fight was going, almost like he was saying that it wouldn't have made a difference. I'm like, oh.
You know that you watch Leon Edwards, a UFC fight versus Kamaru Usman, where he was losing every round and kicked him in the head and knocked him out.
Well, listen,
So how do you make that decision after one round?
Well, one of his fighters, to be fair, Carl Froch, he wasn't promoting Carl Froch at the time. Carl Froch was losing pretty much every round to Jermaine Taylor about 13 years ago, whenever it was, and then stopped him in literally the last round, but was losing the majority of the fight. Yeah. So that argument there about what could have happened, etc., is very subjective.
That's what I'm saying. He should know better. Come on, Eddie. Next time you come to Mykonos, I'm not letting you in anywhere.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll definitely
All
catch up over the weekend.
Sounds good. Cheers, buddy. Take care. Bye.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.